And Carl Paladino is joining us tonight from Buffalo. Mr. Paladino, how are you?
Hi. Nice to see you, Liz.
So I assume you got some sleep, and then you woke up and you were the official gubernatorial nominee of the Republican Party. How's it feel?
Very humbling. A very humbling experience to have that kind of a mandate from the people was just very humbling for me. And I thank all New Yorkers for making that extra effort to go out there and cast their ballot, because we've made a clear statement.
Now, you were not...
made a very, very clear statement.
You were not surprised in terms of winning, although the Siena poll had you deadlocked. Apparently, obviously, more people were mad as hell than we thought previously. But you were surprised by the large percentage of people who voted for you.
Yeah, we could feel, for 3 months, we could feel our surge. As we engaged people with our message, they engaged with us. And we felt it, but we knew the polls were a little bit behind. Unfortunately, polls are at a static time. And when you have momentum going, as we had going, it's very difficult to define and understand how big that momentum was. But yes, we closed 40 points in 3 months, and that was an astounding recognition by the people that our message was very clear and concise.
You have spoken change. That's actually sounds kind of familiar from the 2008 presidential campaign.
Yeah. Except I don't think he really knew what he was talking about there.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he used the word transparency, too. And we haven't seen much of that.
When you have had a conversation with the state Republican chairman, Ed Cox, he did not support you, and at one point he actually didn't even want you to speak at the convention. You nominated yourself, if I remember correctly. That's where your famous baseball bat to Albany line comes from. What did the chairman say to you?
We joined together. We're all getting on the bus, and we're going to the game together.
What does that mean?
We're going to the. He's very supportive. He's going to be there. He's going to bring the party management with him, and we're going to the dance together, all of us.
But not Rick Lazio. I mean, he's on the Conservative Party line. What do you expect to happen there? He met with Mike Long, the state Conservative Party chairman, today, and the two of them remained committed. They're going to be dancing, the two of them.
Well, that's his choice. And that's Long's choice. They're welcome to make that choice. And, you know, I've invited Rick to join us, to get on the bus. If he doesn't want to, that's fine. I think Mr. Long's been making some poor judgment lately. He made a poor judgment when he originally selected Rick, when he defied the party history and the party logic. And he's had some pretty disparaging things to say about me, but I would certainly, I would be honored if he would join us.
Did you
and
speak
go forward with us
to Rick Lazio last night or today?
Actually, we have been missing each other, not for lack of trying. We've had a number of phone calls back and forth, and because I've been so busy today with the press, it's been very difficult to hook up. But I think we will hook up in the next few hours, and we'll get to talk.
And then what will you say to him? Will you ask him to drop off the Conservative Party line?
Yes.
You will. And what pitch will you make to get him to do that?
That'll be done by probably John Haggerty and Nick Sinatra. They'll be talking to him.
And you think he'll say yes?
Oh, I don't know what he'll say. It's his choice. I'm not going to prevail upon anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. That's up to him.
Okay, so Carl, now what we see is the Democratic Party, of course, getting engaged. Andrew Cuomo has a new ad out, the first of the general election campaign, and we see an open letter written to New Yorkers from former Mayor Ed Koch, former Mayor of New York City, former U.S. Senator Alphonse D'Amato, a Republican, but who has raised money for Andrew Cuomo, and former State Comptroller H. Carl McCall, who say you are, quote, simply not fit to lead this great state, and that you have proven yourself unfit to serve. What's your response to that?
Well, Alphonse has finally come out of the closet. Alphonse has finally declared himself a Democrat now. That's wonderful. I'm really proud of him. I think he should have done it a few months ago. He should have told people, yes, he is in Cuomo's pocket. Yes, he is supporting Lazio. He sent Finkelstein over there to run the Lazio campaign, and he failed. Now, all of a sudden, he's open and he's joining Koch. Interesting. Did Andrew Cuomo sign on to Mr. Koch's, to Mayor Koch's request for a disinterested commission to do the redistricting?
Well, I believe Andrew
Cuomo
has his own reform pledges that he's asking other people to sign. Did you sign on to the Koch pledge? I believe that Andrew did,
yes,
actually.
I did.
Yeah, Andrew Cuomo did. All
okay.
of the gubernatorial candidates did. So did Rick Lazio.
Mm-hmm. Well, from my perspective, I invited Andrew yesterday to enter into a series of debates with us that will allow him to be properly vetted to the people, and especially the people in the Democratic Party. You see, Andrew has a very, very difficult thing to do here. He's going to have to somehow walk between the raindrops. He's going to have to tell the people how he stands about Obamacare. 1.5 million new people will be put onto New York's Medicaid. The cost of that will be bared by the working man. And how is Andrew going to explain to the working Democrat, the working men, that are going to suffer this? How's he going to explain to them how they have to carry these burdens because Andrew wants to endear himself to the people who advocate more entitlements, more generous entitlements, which today, as you know, are the most generous anywhere in the world. New York offers the most generous social welfare and Medicaid benefits anywhere.
Well, you and I have actually spoken about this in terms of health care reform, and I know that you are not a supporter of the health care reform bill, but still, I mean, just remind us exactly how you would propose to provide health care for the people who are supposed to be getting it under health care reform and would not get it if it did not go through, and you wanted to cut the Medicaid rolls, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we want to cut the Medicaid optional benefits back to just the level of California. That will save $20 billion a year. Now, that includes doing some things like providing in-home care for the elderly rather than sending them out to a nursing home. The nursing home costs $75,000 a year. Providing in-home care for the elderly where a family member could earn $18,000 or $20,000 a year with additional costs maybe totaling $25,000, and cut 2/3 of the cost of housing the elderly in a nursing home. That's part of the program. That's part of the improvements, in addition to doing some things with optional benefits, which right now give money to people who say, I lost my money, or I made a bad judgment in how I spent my money. I went down to the liquor store. Okay, that's wrong. That's not, it's not right that we would be handing out money, taxpayers' money, with so little regard for the taxpayer who has to pay these bills.
Speaking of money, I just want to change tax for just 1 second. You've spent already more than $1 million of your own money. Andrew Cuomo has about $23 million worth of campaign cash. You've said you'll spend as much as $10 million, but $10 million to $23 million seems like a discrepancy. What is your next move, and how much will you spend? Will you increase that threshold?
Liz, money doesn't mean anything here. Money it's not a problem. From my perspective, yes, we're going to fundraise. We're going to go out and do that thing. And I spent about $3 million in the campaign so far.
Oh, wow.
And I'll be spending a lot more money in the campaign. But this, the real question is the issues. People want to know, what is the message? Andrew has to answer for that. he's got to tell people what he's about. Not just that he's an egotistical man. I mean, we saw his ego take hold of him when he was at HUD. His arrogance and his ego brought about, in Alan Greenspan's own words, it brought about the housing bubble, which caused the subprime meltdown, which caused a worldwide recession. And we're going to take this man just on his good word that he has now evolved into a better person. We're going to take him at that word, and we're going to make him the governor of the state of New York? I don't think so.
Let me just...
I've been to the zoo, and you've been to the zoo many times. I've never seen a zebra change its stripes. And to watch a liberal progressive change into a new conservative Democrat is a little bit much for me.
Carl, let me just ask you in parting. You're going to be running with with Rick Lazio's running mate, Greg Edwards. Is that correct? Have you spoken to Greg Edwards yet?
No, we haven't talked yet. I guess our people are talking to their people, and hopefully we'll have some answers on that shortly. I know Greg Edwards. I've met him in the campaign. He's a very good man. He's very bright. He's very resourceful. He's done great things for his county, and I expect if everything goes in that direction, that he will be a very good running mate.
So Tom Ogmeny has conceded your official pick for a running mate.
I don't know all that. I've been running around, appearing on TV and talking to reporters all day. Nobody's shared that information with me yet.
Okay, and just to reiterate though, when you say you're going to spend more money, are you going to spend more than the $10 million that you said you were going to spend at the outset of 5 months ago?
I don't know, Liz. I thought I was going to spend $10 million just in the primary. So, let's not get ourselves all crazy about money. I spent $3 million. I saved probably close to $1 million because we had volunteers, 1,500 volunteers from everywhere in the state of New York, wonderful people that went out and carried our petitions.
When people say,
and I saved.
When people say that you're going to be the death of the Republican Party, that because you're so controversial and you've done controversial things and said even this evening some controversial things, what is your response to that?
Have you been reading the New York Times or the Daily News? Where'd you get that from?
There are many people who have said that. It's been printed in various different papers, in various different newspapers,
okay.
sure.
There are some members of the press that want to express their desires to put up more blockades and paint Carl as some kind of a onerous person. But you're looking at him. I am what I am. I'm right here. I'm not intimidatable, Liz. All right. I'm not politically correct, and I'm happy that way. I have no financial motivations. This is the first and last time that I will run for public office. I have no ego to fulfill. I don't seek power. I don't need praise. I don't need a pat on the back. I'm only going for 4 years. And in those 4 years, I'll take out the trash. I'm a wartime guy. I'll handle it.
Well, I received your odiferous mailing, so you're not kidding about the trash. Okay, I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much, Carl Paladino. I'm sure we're going to be seeing you again. But thanks very much for joining us after your late primary night last night.
Thank you, Liz. Look forward to seeing you again.
Take care.
Bye-bye.